先生とどっちが強い？
そうだね。力の全てを取り戻したスクナならちょっとしんどいかな。
負けちゃう？
勝つさ。
Gojo Satoru, the only member of the Gojo family that matters and a fan-favorite character, and an absolute powerhouse. But just how powerful is he? After his newfound freedom in Chapter 221 and new feats, what better time to take a look at the strength of the Honored One? Upon Gojo's birth, the power balance of the world shifted, and before he was even shown to possess Limitless, he frightened other sorcerers. Because when you're born with the 6 eyes, you're destined to be a prodigy. But it's not just the 6 eyes and Limitless that makes him powerful, it's his cursed energy reinforcement and hand-to-hand combat prowess as well. The 6 eyes certainly help, but these alone are already top of the verse. His skill in hand-to-hand is directly compared to Kenjaku, a 1,000-year-old sorcerer, and one who has thrown hands with Yuki Tsukumo. When he fought the disaster curses in Shibuya, he made them look like punks. And he is the only rival of Ryomen Sukuna. And if you aren't this 4-eyed demon, you're fodder. His cursed energy reinforcement and output alone was enough to kill Hanami, and being able to even brush your arm against Ryomen Sukuna puts you in the top of the verse. So even Gojo's base stats are terrifying. His true power lies in the 6 eyes and Limitless. The 6 eyes are plain and simple ridiculous. Only one person can have them at any given time, and the only characters we even hear about from the Gojo family are those born with these eyes, because at all times they are desperately awaiting the birth of Ultra Baby. A user of these 6 eyes is able to process information at a faster rate than a normal human, and these 6 eyes remain active at all times even when you are out of cursed energy. The ability to process information at a faster rate and see the flow of cursed energy, this makes learning in your daily life easier and pretty much guarantees that you're going to be a prodigy. And on top of this, they allow you to see at an extremely long distance, and the cursed energy flow at this distance. Being able to see cursed energy flow alongside the ability to process information at a faster rate puts your reaction times at an incredible level even for a Jujutsu sorcerer. The only ones able to completely evade the tracking of these 6 eyes are characters like Toji Fushiguro, who have 0 cursed energy. Even while covered, these 6 eyes act like a high-resolution thermal lens. You're also able to see the basic structure of chemicals and objects, and this, along with increased brain power, is what lets Gojo use Limitless to its full potential. And on top of that, these 6 eyes allow the user to use their cursed energy so efficiently that it is nearly 0, and this is probably the most overpowered ability of the 6 eyes. The only downside of the 6 eyes is that you are subject to extreme sensory overload, and this is why you often see Gojo wearing a blindfold. So these 6 eyes pretty much just grant you unmatched utility for any and all curse techniques. But speaking of curse techniques, let's talk about Limitless. Because once you have 6 eyes, if you get Limitless on top of it, well, you've just hit the holy grail of combinations. The Limitless technique brings the concept of infinity into reality. And you can explain why Limitless is overpowered with 2 words: spatial manipulation. The Limitless starter kit comes with quite a few abilities. You have your neutral infinity, blue lapse, red reversal, and hollow purple. And your teleportation, though it's really just an application of blue. The most well known of these is easily infinity. Gojo takes a finite amount of space, he then divides the space an infinite amount of times using his technique, and he uses this as a barrier around himself. So the closer you get to him, the slower you go, but you never actually reach him. There are a lot of overly complicated explanations for this ability, but in universe, that's really all you need to know. And that sounds overpowered, and it is, but there are a couple ways around it. You can use the sure hit of a domain expansion or domain amplification, or curse tools that nullify curse techniques like Inverted Spear of Heaven. And now let's talk about red reversal. And just like any reversal technique, it's hard to pull off, because it takes an understanding of how to generate positive cursed energy. But once you figure that out, well, you're able to bring the divergence of infinity into reality, with the power to repel. This ability looks cool and causes a lot of damage. Too bad it's never used for anything but killing this one cursed spirit, causing property damage, and has a hollow purple ingredient. And speaking of hollow purple, this is the most powerful direct damage ability of Limitless that we are currently aware of. By combining the convergence of blue lapse and the divergence of red reversal, the 2 infinities collide and create an imaginary mass that eradicates whatever it touches. But how fast is hollow purple? Well, if we're going by tachyons, it's faster than light. But this is JJK, not real life. So this kind of a feat is a little questionable, especially for Jujutsu Kaisen, where the top stated speed is Mach 3. So if hollow purple is faster than light, well, the moment Gojo points his finger at you, you're dead, even if you're Ryomen Sukuna, because nobody in JJK has FTL reaction time. If they did, they'd be able to do Black Flash on command, something even Gojo is incapable of, because inputting your cursed energy at a millionth of a second is nothing to someone who can react at light speed. So if it's FTL, well, this is the best murder tool in the entire series. And it doesn't even matter if you can see it coming, which isn't even a guarantee, because he can shoot as many as he wants because he has infinite cursed energy. And he can even shoot them midair, because why not? He did it against Toji, and that was 10 years ago, and this Gojo is far stronger. And unless he decides to make it giant, this thing is capable of forming extremely quickly. And who cares about using your domain? Just shoot Hollow Purples at them. And who needs a maximum technique when you have Hollow Purple? Because Hollow Purple is busted enough. Oh, they dodged the first one? Who cares? Create 4 more. Because why not? Forming these is effortless for him by feats. And you're probably wondering, why did I skip over Blue? Because I'm going to talk about Blue last, because Blue is the best ability Limitless has to offer. Spatial manipulation is overpowered, and teleporting is even more overpowered. Blue Lapse lets you bring impossible concepts like negative distance into reality. And doing this, you can force the surrounding space to fill the gap, generating a magnetic-like effect that can crush people's limbs. And if you put even more cursed energy into it, you can create a large field of moving attraction. And the only person ever shown to be able to dodge Blue Lapse is again Toji Fushiguro, because Gojo can't read his movements due to a lack of cursed energy, on top of him having a tool that can nullify curse techniques. But what is likely the most busted application of Blue is teleportation. This teleportation is pure hacks. There are limitations to this, such as clapping your hands together and occasionally drawing a circle, but these limitations hardly even matter, because what he's actually shown to do with it is already overpowered enough. Even if it is only 10% as useful as it is currently shown to be, it would still be an incredibly useful tool. But recently, in Chapter 221, we got his best teleportation feat. After being released from the prison realm, he teleported from the bottom of the Japan Trench all the way to mainland Japan, right in front of Kenjaku underground. And he did this without breaking a sweat. Even Kenjaku was shocked that Gojo was capable of something like this. And mark my words, this ability is going to go unexplained, because being able to teleport other people with one arm holding them, all while his blindfold is on, feats like this are just stupid. People talk about domain expansion clashes all the time. Gojo should never have to even deal with a domain expansion clash. Everybody talks about who has a more refined domain. Who cares? If someone makes a hand sign for their domain expansion, this guy is fully capable by feats of just teleporting away, and then leaving you burnt out and teleporting back to kill you, because there's really no reason he shouldn't be able to, given what he's shown in the story. He has been shown to both effortlessly long distance and short range teleport, and can do so through solid objects, and apparently knows where you are from miles away, because he can, because he's Gojo, because the 6 eyes or something. The thing that's truly holding back Gojo's teleport is his personality and the writing of Gege Akutame, because the reason he doesn't just use it 24/7 is because plot. And honestly, I don't really care, because if he did use his teleportation like he really should be able to all the time, the story would be pretty boring. Oh, and if you ever knock this guy off his feet, well, it doesn't even matter, because he is fully capable of halting his movement in midair, and floating in midair, and he can also put his spatial manipulation around other people nearby him, and let them walk on water, because why not? Because you're Gojo, and you're Jujutsu Jesus. And on top of all of this, he's able to teleport himself while midair. So unless you're capable of dodging Hollow Purples while flying up, I have no idea how you even deal with this guy, because he is capable of staying out of even Malevolent Shrine range indefinitely. And because of his mastery of reverse curse technique, he pretty much never gets tired. Gojo is running reverse curse technique on his brain 24/7, and because of this, he is able to run his limitless technique, or more importantly, his infinity 24/7. And because he's always keeping his brain fresh, he hardly ever has to sleep. And it is not a stretch at all to say that Gojo is capable of regenerating his limbs. Characters obviously weaker than him like Yuki Tsukumo are fully capable of this, so he should be too. The real reason we've never seen him regenerate a limb in this series is because he's never lost a limb in this series, because he is suffering from success. This is one of the things that Ryomen Sukuna is actually directly better in than Gojo Satoru, as his reverse curse technique is fully capable of healing others. So the 6 eyes and limitless combo, well, it's just stupid how powerful it is. But let's talk about the speed of Gojo Satoru. Gojo is stated to be the fastest sorcerer alive, and fully capable of keeping up with the likes of Ryomen Sukuna. And taking into account that Gojo can teleport, he's likely even faster. Even Sukuna noted that his speed and teleportation is hacks. and after using his domain expansion in Shibuya, he killed over 1,000 transfigured humans in 5 minutes. And speaking of domain expansions, let's talk about Unlimited Void. This territory is one of the best in the entire series. Once Gojo uses the Unlimited Void, it streams an infinite amount of information into your brain, leaving you in a catatonic state. The information dump is extremely fast, although it is not instant, and a 0.2 second domain was enough to leave even multiple special grades catatonic for 5 minutes. The hand sign for Unlimited Void is that of Taishakuton, also known as Indra in Hindu mythology, the ruler of all gods. And in Japanese mythology, one who protects both deities and humans against all evil. How refined is this domain in comparison to someone like Sukuna's? Well, to be honest, we don't know for sure. Though considering Barrier Master Kenjaku didn't want to open a domain against this guy, there is likely more to this domain and its refinement than we are currently aware of. And when it comes to scaling Sukuna or Gojo, it's pretty easy, because all you really have to do is look down. So Gojo is a completely stacked character. And if you were to plug a controller into this guy and just use all of his abilities to their max potential in their smartest ways, yeah, he pretty much never loses. Because there is nothing really stopping this guy from floating around like an orbital weapons platform that shoots hollow purples down. And I'm going to talk about Gojo versus Sukuna, because how can you not in a Gojo power scaling video? As of the making of this video, the only answer that Sukuna has ever shown to anything Gojo has is the wheel. And this wheel is a big deal. There is no need to downplay the wheel, because the wheel is overpowered, and it is arguably the only important part of the 10 Shadows. Because honestly, all the Shikigami he's shown don't really matter at all. RCT deer? Why does Sukuna need an RCT deer? And without the wheel, Mahoraga is just a big physical stats powerhouse. And Sukuna is obviously Mahoraga's superior, so why ever put the wheel on anything but yourself? And while we don't know Sukuna's technique currently, this is really what it depends on, because this thing needs to be stuffed to the brim with hacks. Considering it's still hidden, it's going to be busted. But will it be as busted as it needs to be to overcome the on-paper stats of Gojo Satoru? Honestly, I'm not sure, but I don't think it matters that much, because in-universe, Gojo doesn't use his power set to its maximum potential. But that's kind of the point, is that the downside of Gojo Satoru and his weakness is his arrogance. Because that's what happens when you're born at the top. Because this guy has only ever been told that he is the best since the day he was born. And this is a key difference between Gojo and Sukuna in the way they treat Jogo, where at the very end of their fight, Gojo calls him pathetically weak, and Sukuna gives him respect and says, "Stand proud, you're strong." And this is a pretty intentional comparison, is that Gojo does not take his opponents as seriously as he really should. And so far, it doesn't really matter, but when it comes to Ryomen Sukuna, it's probably going to bite him in the ass. And that's why I find it so interesting that in Chapter 221, we get to see a more powerful Gojo than ever, who busts out of the prison realm and just breaks through all the barriers, and gives one of his best feats in the entire series. This is the strongest he's ever been, only to then immediately see his arrogance on full display. Because Gojo could very well be correct that he is stronger than a standard 20-finger Sukuna. And that's reinforced by the fact that Gege gave Sukuna a buff before their final fight. But that's the thing, Gojo's problem is Gojo and 10 Shadows. So I am very interested to see how Gojo's final fight plays out. And now I want to hear your opinion on the release and power of Gojo Satoru. Let me know in the comments below, and if you like videos like this, subscribe for more. And as always, thanks for watching.
大丈夫。僕最強だから。